Hi, I'm Austin, and this is the Hork-Bajir Chronicles. You all stand around a crater with the destruction of the metal trees or the scoop. Smoke is still starting to clear from it's not starting to clear from this area, but it is dissipating more, I guess. So it's clearing a little bit.
Ilira,
Oh.
you are much better at mathematics than I am.
Go on.
How likely is it percentage-wise that where our landing site is still intact at this point?
I need more information. Can I fly up again?
I will say, where your landing site, are you talking about
Yeah.
Prince Jahim?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It is a ways back. You'd have to fly for a little bit to get there to check it out.
Would I be able to see like smoke plumes or anything?
Yeah, so it'll take you probably 5 minutes to fly all the way to the top of this canopy and out above the trees. But when you do, you look around, and the biggest smoke is billowing out from this area. There is a smaller one to the east a little ways that from what you're kind of like where you are, you can kind of determine that is not where Prince Jahim was. That smoke's not coming from there. In the direction that he was in, you don't see the smoke. Give me a perception check. It's going to need to be pretty high to see that. 23 is pretty high.
Is that okay?
Yeah. So a small glimmer in the night sky in the distance, you see the end of like a jet. And as you like squint your Keffa bird eyes a little bit and see just a little bit more detail, you notice that is the shuttle that you all landed on, and it is flying in the distance away. You do see it drop back down into the canopy, though.
I'll relay that back to Sanillion. Do you have any theories?
Theories? None.
I have a couple of lines of inquiry.
Okay.
And perhaps I'm jumping the gun a little, but how do we know that Prince Jaham is not one of them?
We would not.
So while this is going on, Yall has climbed to the tallest tree that he can find and is trying to visually find Bearfin, and will probably at one point start yelling his name.
Roll me a perception check.
Okay.
You climb up this tree, and it's one of the ones that's just on the edge of where this where everything else was kind of blown out. You climb up to the edge of one of those trees high up and start looking around and calling for Bearfin. You don't see him. You don't hear him. But you do notice in the distance, towards that way, which is north, you see Geds in the woods moving towards the crater.
Like, okay, towards us.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm going to scramble back down and let everybody know that. The first person I'll tell is Keffa. Keffa, more Geds.
How many?
Yeah, how many did I see up there?
More than one. I don't know how much numbers you know. You saw 5. Tim knows you saw at least 5.
Many or not many?
Is 5 many or not many? That's where I'm hung up here. Fingers.
All right.
I saw this many.
Keffa's going to look around her on her way over to Maitea, but she's looking on the way for any sort of technology that she can find.
Roll me investigation.
So while they're doing that, each has gotten down face to face with Bronk and is looking in his eyes and doing that thing with like your claw where you go to clean out like your dog's ear and like trying to clean out and just like trying to inspect as best she can to see if he seems okay or not.
Give me a medicine check. You hang on, we'll get back to you in 1 second each. Keffa, as you're looking around, heading towards Maitea, most of the stuff here has been blown to shit. Like there's bent pieces of metal, charred, and just scattered everywhere. I will say you find a shiny bark box that is kind of buried halfway and bent kind of open. And inside there seems to be a little disc with a you've looked over the scanner a little bit. You know what the lights look like when they're off. It seems to just have an off light, and it's just a disc.
She's going to scoop that up on her way to Maitea.
Maitea is now she was at Zero for a little while, and she's went to Hera now. And as you kind of get to her, she stands up, looks over towards Aldrea.
They come.
More,
we go.
I didn't get to say bye to Aldrea.
Fast.
She
Sorry.
There. It's okay. It's not your fault. She gets to you, each, and as you hear her running over, you put your finger kind of into his ear and kind of check around, and he falls over flat on the ground. And then Maitea gets there and kind of leans down to Aldrea, and you watch as she just kind of like looks at her. You don't hear anything in your head. You don't hear any thought speak. But her eyes, as they do with Andalites, emote everything, and it's sadness. But then she looks to you and she says, "Each, we have to go. There's more Geds."
Scared.
Me too. But we'll get through it. she'll kind of stand and kind of try to help you up too. Even though you're way bigger, she'll offer assistance. And Bronk raises his head up and looks at you, and he tries to stand up as you do and stumbles back over again.
Y'all will go pick up Bronk.
He like lets out a sigh and just like lays sideways on you and starts to doze off.
Does he look hurt at all?
He with your medicine check, as you were like looking over him,
I guess okay, yeah. I'll say any very noticeable bleeding wounds. I think that's all I could. Okay,
he's not bleeding.
That's all I could tell.
Although he does have stains of red all over his mouth and kind of on his chest as well.
Y'all is gonna go to. Sanillion is still with us, right? He's gonna take Bronk and hold it against Sanillion's wrist and just say, heal.
Can Sanillion attempt to ascertain if this creature is actually injured?
You can give me a medicine check.
Proud of my boy.
He looks just inebriated. You kind of put together from what Matea told you earlier. He's just drunk.
I think he'll inspect him and then hand it back and just say, he is okay.
Y'all does not believe that, but we'll take him anyway. Not okay.
Keffa has said that there's Geds coming.
We go.
Go where? No home tree, no metal tree, no home.
Sanillion. Should we try to get them back to Prince Jaham?
What if he is a controller?
I don't want to think about the idea of a Yeerk and an Andalite, but he certainly didn't seem keen to help Zero.
That is true, but perhaps that is just him.
Well, we should at least go back to the scoop and see if there's any sort of communication device still there.
We could take the ship. We could get past where the Yeerks are blocking the communications. At the very least, we would need to let the Andalite homeworld know that there are many new controllers.
I agree.
All right.
Friends, I cannot guarantee your safety, but we believe that we may be able to help potentially, so follow us.
Y'all will look at Keffa.
I was gonna look at Keffa.
And Keffa looks back. Nowhere safe. Friends help.
Friends help.
Let's go. You all start to move towards into the forest away from the crater. Anything you all are doing on the way? And I'm just so I'm clear, you're heading the Andalites are leading the Hork-Bajir back to Prince Jaim's scoop.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, a couple of things. The Andalites are leading us because we don't know where we're going, but Yall is going to try to stay as close to the front as he can. And he did hand Bronk back to each.
He just sleeps slumped over your shoulder.
In the Hork-Bajir.
Hork-Bajir! Hork-Bajir!
And he's much bigger now, so it's kind of... no, I've switched around, so it's on my back now. So I can kind of like have his front paws flapped over my shoulders and his back little paws kind of flopping out on either side. But yeah, he's in my Hork-Bajir.
Depending on how long I've been in Morph, Austin, I don't know if you know.
We'll say it's only been about 600 Hork-Bajir minutes, but that's about 15 Earth minutes.
How much is that in metric?
I think you got to divide by 3 or something.
But I'll stay in Keffa bird form as we make this journey back.
Sanillion, as you get closer, will offer to switch with you. Both for scouting reasons and because he's just walking around bleeding from the hindquarters.
Austin, did you get my whisper earlier?
In with chat.
The one that you can whisper in.
Bleeding from the Hindquarters is such a metal album.
It's my favorite album.
Yeah. Bleeding from the fetlocks.
I didn't get a whisper.
Maybe I did it wrong.
In roll 20?
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to know if we knew about the morphing healing thing.
I assumed we did because we've gone through that.
Yeah, you all have morphed and demorphed. But also,
yeah, okay, that makes sense.
The Academy.
Ilira, you know how this technology works for sure. And
okay.
Yeah, Sanillion, you would have learned it.
Okay, I'm just trying not to metagame, but
it's
yeah,
new
you're
technology.
Right. Yeah.
The
totally logical leap.
We hung out with the Andalites for a while, but they never talked to us about morphing or morphed in front of us, right?
Nope.
Y'all has no idea that this bird is the same person. No.
You're just sitting there like, why is this bird being riding on Sanillion this whole time?
Where'd Ilira go? And
not even
what
close
cool
to the
bird.
weirdest thing we've seen today.
Yeah.
We are at capacity. Like, nope. Too many new things. Can't take any more.
I know that feeling.
Yeah, I'll land and start demorphing so that Sanillion can take over.
And Yall is sufficiently horrified and confused.
Yeah,
And
then
then
you just see
Sanillion
like
will
all
start
the Hork-Bajir going, what?
Doing the Spider-Man points.
Don't be alarmed, it's fine.
Just actually screaming.
Yeah.
No, it's fine.
Stop
It's
screaming, you'll alert everyone. It's
like
fine.
half bird, and you're just like,
I know
Bronk wakes up and the Chadoin is both joined in with each. And just yell on each side of her head.
I know it is a horrible sight to behold, but I promise this is fine. Just Andalite things.
Y'all
Hashtag
like,
just
Just
Andalite
the white things.
Y'all like stops for a minute and looks like after this is all completed and just looks. He's like, Yeerk?
No.
Yeerk is different.
Correct.
Sanillion's gonna try to help him and just like flap his wings and be like, cough it.
Cough it. That's all he does. You have no idea if he got it or not.
Just each of
Hey,
us
man.
standing there flapping,
Yeah.
going, cough it.
The next time he sees any kind of birds, he's just going to be like, cough it.
I'm assuming it's the flapping that
Yeah.
that action means. That's
Perfection.
It doesn't take too long after you finish your morph for you all to get there. And you see that the Hork-Bajir also recognized that part of this, the ground near a tree, was kind of dug out for a scoop. And there are familiar metal trees here, as Jaheim has had his awnings put up for his workstations. The biggest difference that Sanillion and Ilira notice when they get back is that the ship's not there. Also, neither is the Andalite. And it looks like a lot of the stuff was taken. But there is still some stuff here and still set up and usable.
Okay, I'm gonna jump on that immediately and start seeing what I can salvage together.
So just on initially looking at this, he has a data bank that's still here that is still intact that you could access if you had a scanner.
Yall is walking to he's like, new metal trees, new home. And then just starts like, sort of like digging himself a little place to sleep. Like he lives here now. Good bark near.
This is Prince Jaheim's scoop.
each is gonna go up and, like she did when she first went to the last scoop place, like drag her elbow blade down thing, and if it makes the same sound, said, "Yes, same."
Live here.
Terrible metal screeching.
While they're nesting and screeching, Keffa's gonna walk up to Maitea and hold out the thing that she found and say, What no?
I forgot you had this, Keffa. We can use this. Ilira, that's your name?
Yes.
Keffa has her own scanner.
How did she obtain a scanner?
She's very sly. It's Ciro's old scanner.
I think Ilira's gonna like twitch a little bit, like thinking of a Hork-Bajir having Andalite technology, but she'll like accept the scanner and or actually, I don't know if you're offering the scanner. I shouldn't assume anything.
Well, if she offered it to Maitea, Maitea will like gesture towards Ilira. I'm not very good at it. I'm okay, but
Keffa, was it?
Keffa.
May I use your scanner to try and contact Andalites to come and help?
More friends, more help. And she's gonna hand over the scanner. But
That's
slowly, like she's gonna reach out with it and say, back after.
Maitea's eye, or Maitea, what the fuck? Ilira's eye twitches a little bit, but she kind of nods and accepts it.
It was the stalk eye that switched.
Little spasm.
you can make a technology check. You know how the scanner hooks in. You know how it works. And as you like log in, you just gotta sift through the stuff. See what you can find.
Arcana. How's a 10?
A 10 is good enough to get you in, and you can start kind of looking through the stuff that he was doing here. taken a lot of samples. He didn't seem to be concerned too much for any of the species of this planet, more of the what the plant life and what the fauna around the planet can be used for. You see he has records in here that there are many hallucinogens on this planet. There are ingredients that can be combined that will actually start to heal your wounds quicker than they normally would be. There's even a plant with a seed that, if broken open, will emit a bright light. A lot of this seems to be unusual, or at least he's categorizing it as important things in his research. There does seem to be, as you search through, you find a file that is encrypted. You can try to get past that.
I'm absolutely going to do that.
So I think it's not on your sheet, but you do have proficiency with like tinker's tools and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So you can roll that as well in this if it's better than your Arcana or Intelligence.
That's what I've done.
You use the scanner and you try to. Do you have advantage or anything?
Lucky. Sure. Piloting maneuvers. Gain proficiency in any combination of 3 skills or tools of your choice. I don't think so.
Let me double check something. Okay.
I could spend a luck point though. Maybe.
Yeah, you could.
Seems important. So roll again?
Yep.
Slightly better.
A 14. So you find this encrypted file, this encrypted section of the data bank, and you try to do a backdoor brute force into it, but that doesn't work. So it takes a little bit more finesse, and you write a code and an algorithm to bypass this. You do this all within like 10 seconds, and you get into the file. In this file, it's titled Father Deep. Go ahead.
As I break into the file, I say, I'm in.
Keffa is like right over your shoulder.
Keffa, give me an intelligence check or Arcana if it's better.
That was a save, sorry, but it's the same.
Yeah. So you are watching this and you're starting to take in the everything that Ilira's doing. Even though she's doing it so quick, you're kind of following it. You think that you might be able to. She came to a file that she couldn't get in, and then she got in it by hitting the right keys or hitting the right buttons on the scanner. And you think that with some practice, you might be able to do that. But Ilira, you find a document titled Father Deep.
What is Father Deep?
Father Deep and Mother Sky.
Are we close enough to hear any of this, or are y'all and I still away, distracted?
If Ilira is thought speaking to everyone. Yeah, you guys can hear it.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like at that, like, saying something that we actually know, like, would perk up and be like, Father Deep Danger.
Is Father Deep another Hork-Bajir?
Y'all's just gonna.
Mm,
The first time you've ever seen the Hork-Bajir look like sarcastic at you and be like, no.
Father Deep is what they call the caverns with the mist that flows through them. You both remember seeing these as you landed. There were caverns spread out with a purple mist flowing in them.
What is dangerous about Father Deep?
There are other creatures.
Monsters. No go, Father Deep.
Private thought speak to Sanillion. Monsters. We only have one morph.
Yes, that would not be sufficient for fighting the monsters.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Correct. But I'm sure monsters could fight other monsters.
That is true. We should venture there.
Mm-hmm. What else can you tell us about Father Deep? To everybody.
Don't go.
I think what I didn't hear what you said, Tim.
Yeah, can you say it again?
Don't go.
Went to Red Bark. Good. Monster. Father Deep. Bad. But Bronk. Friend.
Oh,
Father Deep and Mother Sky make us.
Hmm. Each is going to look very happy, like satisfied with herself. Like she feel like she really did a good job explaining that. And she's really proud.
they haven't explored Father Deep much. Does the document say anything else?
I will continue to read the document.
As you kind of scroll through it, I don't know how Andalites do. Do they scroll?
One would assume, since they taught all of the computer building, that it would work similarly with Windows and scrolling.
So you scroll.
My friend Bill.
Canon said.
Not by us.
It has notes on Father Deep. It says one of the notes is that the mist is breathable, and it can sustain life down there. It looks like Prince Jaheim has travel logs that he has been down there himself, many excursions. Although it seems those notes, even in this encrypted file, are kept rather vague. And they reference another data pad for further details. But the main thing that you get out of all these notes in his excursions are that there are dangerous monsters that are down there that he seems to be able to either defeat or get away from.
Wait, Jaheim has defeated monsters down there?
Yes. I'll say, as you read these notes, the references to the other data pad for more details, they all kind of point in the direction that there is something else down there deeper in Father Deep that he won't reference in this data bank. I'll say from the Andalites, as arrogant as they are, still like to keep their findings. What am I trying to say here? He is. This is something that they've kind of taught in the academy, that keep sensitive information off of storage unit databanks in your scoop and stuff like that.
Keep anything the Yeerks can find without the information that would allow them to use that system.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Safeguard.
Yeah,
Safeguard.
Anything could be compromised, yes.
But all that does point to one something in Father Deep that he's been investigating.
So none of you have ventured into Father Deep.
Only get Bronk there.
And almost die.
And almost die.
Bronk came from Father Deep.
There's Kaycie froze.
Oh, hello. My internet. She's bringing up shit at me. Okay, private thought, speak to Sanillion. So what if we acquire, record Bronk, morph him, go into Father Deep, try to find some other kind of monster to help in our fight against these Yeerks?
I would prefer to have my tail blade, but that makes sense.
I don't think these Hork-Bajir are going to help us if they are so afraid of Father Deep, and according to these logs, an Andalite can venture in and out without too much trouble. Obviously, we shouldn't underestimate what could be down there. It's a strange planet to us, but...
Ilira, as you glance back at the scanner one more time, you notice that there are a few dates that stand out. Around a cycle ago, there's a note about the Yeerks arriving on this planet, and it's titled his first sighting. You also see that a few rotations after that, there's another note that has been redacted, but you notice that there is some kind of code left behind that Prince Jaheim must have missed, and you feel like you can try to get behind it and figure this out if you Give it another shot, another hack shot. So your Tinker's Tools or your intelligence.
Doop-doop-doo. Whew. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling 22.
Yeah, you easily just move this. He had like a black bar over the title of this date, and you swipe it away. And the date is titled Failsafe Complete.
Enhance.
You enhance it. Matea looks at it as well over your shoulder, and she says, "What was he doing?"
I wish I knew.
Does it say anything about where he might have went?
Does it?
She'll like lean in with you, and she'll say, check the recent data logs, and you can give me another intelligence check with advantage as Matea helps you.
Tinker's Tools or Arcana?
Either one. 16. You pull up the recent data logs, and he, in his haste, must have left this behind because he has coordinates to where he's headed. You do realize that it's on the other side of the planet, but you have the coordinates. Matea sees them as well.
Well, we know where he is.
Yes.
Good to know.
I'm going to go after him. Matea says that, and then she immediately turns to Keffa. Keffa, you need to warn the other Hork-Bajir.
Hang on. Why are you sending Keffa to warn the other Hork-Bajir?
Keffa's different. Keffa can rally her people. She can talk to them and convince them. They're not safe anymore.
Is Keffa different enough that Keffa will not be slaughtered where they stand if they encounter a Yeerk-infested Hork-Bajir?
Keffa can hold her own, but what should she do?
That is the question.
I believe that she should warn the other Hork-Bajir. The Yeerks won't be in the higher parts of the trees shaving bark off to eat. They won't be playing these strung strings that go from branch to branch. They won't be doing Hork-Bajir things.
So
If
you're
we
saying it
just-
would be obvious who is a controller and who is not?
It would be more obvious if they were. If they weren't. Because the Yeerks wouldn't be doing the things that they're doing. I don't believe this is like the other places that they've infested. They're not sneaking. They came right out and attacked us.
What is it about this planet? What do they want?
Matea Stalk Eyes were watching Ilira as they were talking, and they move back and forth from each Hork-Bajir now. I think they want them.
Currently, each is just on the ground with Bronk and Shadu and paying zero attention to any of this. Was completely had given her thoughts and now is just totally focused on the pets.
What is it about them?
Look at them.
They would make good weapons, Ilira.
Certainly better than the Geds.
Some of their blades are almost as large as my tail blade.
We can't let that happen.
No.
If you two worry about the Hork-Bajir's safety, please join them. Help them. Get Keffa to the next clan safely, and she can warn them. And I'll go chase after Jaheen.
I think I have a potentially extremely bad plan that may help us do both of those things. We need to get to the side of the planet, correct?
That's where he is. Yes.
And it would help us if we could move a lot faster because we could get Keffa to the other Hork-Bajir.
Yes.
And we know where the Yeerks have landed on this planet because we have seen where the Ged were coming from.
Have you seen their ships?
I would like to see more of their ships, I think is what I'm eventually going to be saying.
If you know where their ships have landed, that would be a big help.
I think we have a good guess.
I don't know how much of this is said out loud, but I feel like at a certain point each is going to say, like, turn back to y'all and be like, Geds, come? Saw Geds? Danger?
Sanillion looks totally like, I don't know how to answer this. Like, you know when like a kid asks you a question and you are not good with kids and you don't know what to do, so you just keep looking at the adults like, help, help, help.
Y'all, okay, so I don't want to tell you what y'all's been doing this entire time. But y'all, even when each asks that question, y'all has been like carving a piece of bark off a tree and eating it. And then he'll carve one for Matea and throw it at her feet. And then he'll carve one for Sanillion and throw it at her feet, or his feet. And then one for Ilira, and then at the feet again, because he still doesn't understand.
Because Matea placates and puts her hoof on the bark.
On the bark, yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
When y'all throws the bark at Sanillion, can he just like, without even really paying attention, just like thwack it with his tail blade?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, because y'all's not really even paying attention. He's just doing it because he thinks he's being nice and feeding you. But then when each says that, each says, Geds come from trees. Geds not come from sky.
You see?
I see trees. Then see Geds.
Y'all,
She's content. She's gone back to playing with the animals.
Still throwing bark.
We are the most helpful. Sorry, Mom and Dad were talking and I got bored.
That's the same thing I was thinking of. And Yall is bored.
Where do you believe these ships are, Sanillion?
Well, my guess would be back where they leveled Zero's scoop. That direction. That's where they were dropping troops on the ground, was it not?
Well, Mateo will say, yes, we should go check their landing zones. But the Hork-Bajir need to be warned.
Yes. Keffa warn.
I can go and try to find the ship.
No, friends together.
Keffa, you have a responsibility to the Hork-Bajir, and I need to find Jahim. He knew that they were here, and he didn't tell Zero.
Go apart. Bad. Hurt. No.
I have to each. I'll be back.
Help Keffa. Keffa, help Taya.
Keffa, we're going to help everybody.
Don't go alone.
You have responsibilities to your people. This is what you were made different for.
I think realizing that she's not able to talk her out of it, Keffa's just going to look down. Keffa warn.
She touches the side of your face. She says, I'll be back. With her other hand, she reaches and touches each's shoulder, meets her eyes and says, I'll be back. And she turns and looks to y'all and says, I'll be back.
Stay with Keffa. Each. Stay with Keffa.
Yes, each. You stay with Keffa. She'll look back to the Andalites, and I hope you all will stay with Keffa.
For the time being, yes.
Mateo will turn back around and start rifling through some of Prince Jahim's things. And he'll pull out 2 egg-shaped devices, but they're a little flatter than round, but they're like oval. And he'll hand one to Ilira, or she'll hand one to Ilira. And you know these to be short-term communicators or short-range communicators. An Andalite short-range communicator will cover this whole planet.
Short range.
So we can communicate.
And communicate we shall.
she'll start to walk away and kind of scritch Bronk a little bit. And she'll, her stalk eyes will stay on the Hork-Bajir. One moving back and forth from Yall in each, and one staying on Keffa. As she moves deeper into the forest. She seems to be heading back towards the great tree.
Keffa, plan?
Do we know where the closest Hork-Bajir settlement is from here, other than Great Tree?
Yep. It is a few days away, but it is south.
Keffa's going to turn to each and Yall and look at the Andalites and say, we rest, we go, follow.
Are we are still at Jaheim's place, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then Yall's just going to go back to the little bed he made in the metal trees and just lay down there.
Bronco move over to the tree and put both his claws in it and start climbing up, and kind of he'll go to like snuggle with Yall, but like seeing as this bed is, you're big and he's not small, this bed is a little too small, he'll hop back out and start climbing up to a higher branch and just lay on it, put his head on his little claws.
Each is going to climb up in that area and be up there.
And the Chiduin wraps around in a circle on your shoulder and falls asleep.
Keffa's going to go up to Ilira and is going to hit the thing that she pulled out of the wreckage on her way toward Maitea, and say, what learn?
Sorry, say again.
She's got the thing that she pulled out of the wreckage from Ciro's scoop, and she's going to hold it up to Ilira and say, what learn?
Ilira, you recognize this. It is a hollow image frame.
Can I take it and activate it, I guess?
When you do, a image, like a holographic image, flickers above it of Ciro, Hera, Aldrea, and Barafin. Just a picture.
They were your friends. How long have you known them?
Not long. We grow.
I'm sorry.
Me too. And she's going to take the disc and like hold it to herself and say, "Keep safe for my Taya."
What do you mean by that?
My Taya family.
You're surprising.
Keffa different.
I don't know if we can save your people, but we will try.
And Keffa's going to walk over to where Each and Yall and all the puppies and everything are, and find a branch that's sort of looking over everyone and climb up.
What's Sanillion doing during all this?
He's kind of backed off of what everybody's doing and talking about, and he is circling the camp. He's just kind of put himself on watch duty when he saw everybody starting to go to bed. So he's doing the same thing he was kind of doing earlier when Ilira was working on the ship. He's just doing it a lot more seriously and not practicing his tailblade maneuvers or anything like that.
Give me a perception check as you walk the perimeter. Do you have advantage on perception? As you
Yeah, because stock eyes, right?
As you walk around the perimeter, you don't notice anything. Nobody seems to be sneaking through the woods that you can see. You even check the trees up top. You don't see anything. You do see Ilira as you come back around. Ilira, what are you doing as the Hork-Bajir of all went up into the trees?
I think she's gonna be walking up to Sanillion to kind of reconvene with him. And she's gonna say, I think knowing the location of the Ged is something we do need to know, and this could be something we could know sooner rather than later.
What do you need me to do?
Maybe just go on a little scouting mission.
Okay. And I think he'll move off into the woods and start to morph to Coffet Bird. You're muted. You're
Anybody
muted.
hear him?
Nope, nobody can hear him.
Sorry. I was saying after about a minute, you finish your morph.
Cool.
It's my
And
favorite
they'll
thing in
take
the world when you see somebody do that. Once they realize that they're
Yeah.
muted.
You finish your morph.
Yeah, he'll take off.
Stay out of sight as much as you can. And keep
Got
in
it.
touch as much as you can. And be careful. You big lug.
So many different things to keep in mind, but I will do my best.
I believe in you. Sort of.
Wait, what do you mean, sort of?
Bye.
Sanillion, where are you headed first? Towards the great tree or towards the metal tree?
I mean, probably what I would guess he would do logically he would be heading towards kind of the middle point initially of the two of those, and whenever he still saw the most smoke, assuming that was the more recent activity, would be where he would veer off towards.
Okay. Yeah, so as you get in the air, the smoke from the metal trees from Ciro's scoop has mostly started to, disperse throughout the forest and dissipate. There was less smoke coming initially from the great tree, but you still see it kind of smoking from there. So like the chimneys of smoke that were coming out of the trees, it was bigger over by the scoop, but now it's still flowing by the great tree.
So that would be the first place he would go to.
Yeah, it takes you flying. It doesn't take you long to get to that area. Roll me a perception check as you see the tree and the smoke kind of billowing up from around it.
I really got to stop closing my Coffet Bird sheet. Damn it.
That's a mood.
Yeah, that's not it, right? Oh, dang it. Nope. Sorry. One day.
It's going to be my swear from now on as Coffet Bird sheet.
Sheet. 20.
20. As you fly, you see this place where all these branches are kind of intertwined, thick branches. You can land a shuttle on them. There's parts of these trees that are kind of carved out, and you see in some of them there are Hork-Bajir like crouched down in a corner, just waiting, peeking out. You see on the ground floor in front of the tree, there are different scorch marks in the ground where fire has started, and that's why the smoke is kind of building up into the tree. You see some Hork-Bajir walking around on the ground, and you see Ged kind of a few of them sprinkled in between. You also see dead Ged bodies on the ground. But they seem to be, I'll say with a 20, the dead Geds have shredder blasts into them. You see a group of 10 Geds holding down a Hork-Bajir and one standing over it. And a Ged come up to its head and lean its head down next to it. And then a Hork-Bajir jump out of the trees and start grabbing Geds and throwing them. He throws about 3 different Geds. And before they hit him with one of the Geds shoots him with the shredder, and he drops back. 1 second. Sorry, I'm looking something up. The Hork-Bajir that has been shot, clutches at his chest where he was shot, and he still manages to breathe, but he says, "Aloha, Dax, save you," and he starts to push himself up again, and another shredder hits him, drops to the ground, and then the Hork-Bajir that's on the ground lets out grunts. Back! And she throws one of the Geds, but another rushes over and pushes her down. And eventually you see another Ged get next to her, long, slithering neck, put his head next to hers. And with your Keffa bird eyes, you see a slug crawl into one, or out of one ear and into the other. And then as soon as it's done, the Ged looks around and tries to run, but falls over, and another Ged gets over top of him and shoots him with the shredder. You do see a ship set in the trees a little ways away from the great tree. And you see the Geds and some of the Hork-Bajir starting to converge on this ship. And you can see as you get closer that they're boarding it.
How many?
A couple of dozen Hork-Bajir.
And only one ship?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Sanillion will go down, try to sort of stay out of sight, but he's only trying to land on top of this ship.
Give me a stealth check.
As the bird.
Add a bird.
The bird is that Dex?
Yes.
Okay.
You swoop in. You have two sets of wings, and they flap, and you manage to straighten them and kind of glide down, and you land on top of the ship.
Great. And I'm waiting for them to take off.
About 300 Hork-Bajir minutes pass.
Which is only about 8 Earth minutes.
Yeah. And it seems like the last few of the Hork-Bajir have started to get onto the ship, and the Ged as well. The last one is kind of around, looking around, doesn't see anybody else, and he starts to go on.
I'm holding on for as long as they're staying in atmosphere.
Okay. He gets on. You see this this ramp kind of retract in, and the door closes. You feel it start to hum and take off. And it moves up until, if you're still on top of it, above the canopy. And then it starts to take off north. Give me a strength save to hold on.
Okay. As I just strength. I'd guess save is, I don't know. That didn't go well.
This ship takes off, and as soon as it does, you end over end, and you're falling uncontrolled, and you drop back down into the canopy. Make a dex save to kind of right yourself as you're falling through the branches. You are flipping end over end, trying to spread your wings to catch some air to stop yourself from falling. You see a branch shooting up as you fall towards it. You manage to just flip over and spread your wings and catch a thermal up into the air. But by the time you flat back up to the top of the canopy, the ship is in the distance.
Okay. Is there any indication that there are any ships coming back? Like, is there a lot of people, Geds, stationed there, supplies there, like anything that indicates that this is going to be used as kind of a point to infest the Hork-Bajir?
It doesn't. It doesn't look like that.
Okay.
All of you still see those couple of Hork-Bajir in that tree still hidden, but everybody else is either laying on the ground or just not there, or was in that shuttle.
And the bodies on the ground, they are the dead bodies that they shot and left.
There are Hork-Bajir bodies too.
Sure, from
But
Okay.
yes.
I think he'll go down there and just kind of investigate those bodies.
Yeah, give me an investigation check as you look around. Is there anything in particular you're looking for as you're looking over them?
Yeah. I think a couple different things. One would just be any sort of technology that they have and any sort of indication. I don't know if there would be anything like this, but now we know that they're going north. There's something to the north there. So anything that they would have, like, that we could glean more information from. Anything like one of the scanners, something like that.
Give me wisdom or intelligence.
Okay, just straight.
Yeah. As you like look around for any piece of technology, a spare scanner that they might have left, you do find a broken shredder that doesn't look like in pieces. It just looks like it needs some work, and maybe Ilira could fix it. I'll say even with the 8, the Yeerks, how they normally take over a planet is they secretly infest. They seem to be openly doing this. Maybe they don't have one set spot to infest them. Maybe they are taking the infesting with them. Like they're just going and finding places with populations of Hork-Bajir and seeing how well they do.
Okay. And there's no congregation points or anything like that.
Not around here.
What direction did the prince go?
Ilira kind of sent that back to you. He went east.
Okay. Well, we said that, right? When they were
Yeah,
we had knew the coordinates, so it's not like a buck wild question from me.
Right. I was just making sure. That was me in my head going back. But yes, you know.
Okay, then Sanillion will grab that shredder if it's possible to carry it and take it back.
Yeah, it does take you a little bit longer to fly with it, but you eventually get back.
Yeah. Drop the shredder off by Ilira and just report back everything that he saw, including the Hork-Bajir and the way that they're taking them, and that they don't have anywhere to like corral their former hosts again. They're just shooting them and leaving them in piles, and that they went to the north, that they had, how many strong they had in the ship.
So when you first drop off the shredder, Ilira is going to be like, "Ooh, you brought me a present."
It is broken, but yes.
It will not be broken for long. And she's kind of like messing with it as she listens to what you relay back to her. So they're just randomly stopping off and picking off piles of Hork-Bajir.
Seems to be.
Barbaric. And you
Unsure
saw...
why.
Go.
You go.
No, you.
Nope.
You said you saw other Hork-Bajir hiding in the trees.
There were other Hork-Bajir around, yes.
So they're at least aware of what's happening. That's promising, at least. Then they can defend themselves, or try.
Yes. Try.
What's our next move?
Well, I guess to get to other... Did they call them clans?
Yeah.
I guess we just help the Hork-Bajir and hope Maitea accomplishes whatever it is that she was doing.
Mm-hmm. And if we find any interesting morphs, we can pick them up along the way. I always want to do things, and then it seems other things come up that are just more important. But that's how life is, I suppose.
What did you want to do?
I'll just go into Father Deep, grab a couple monster morphs, and lay waste to these irritants that are the Yeerks. But the Hork-Bajir come first.
We will protect them.
As best we can.
At that moment, a piece of bark hits you in the hoof.
A Yeerk can only survive without Kandrona for 3 days. Our source of Kandrona came from our son. When Ciro met with our people, he created the Kandrona generator. It produced artificial Kandrona rays through particle infusion and UV lights. This would change a liquid on the molecular level to satisfy our need and allow us to absorb the nutrients we needed to survive. The Kandrona generator was a complicated machine, but one that was crucial to our survival off-world. So I began to study and learn it. I used our stolen ship's databases and tools to learn and recreate the generator. Our group had 2 by the time we reached the other Yeerks. Actor 1154 met with the Council of 12. He explained to them his plan, and as he predicted, they were overjoyed to hear of more hosts to take. However, they did not head to the planet immediately. They were already in the middle of an invasion. They had invaded another planet with carnivorous beasts that could chew through almost anything. Chewing was the act of grinding a material down with one's mouth. Most creatures that I had encountered were limited in what their mouths could chew, but not these ones. This did not sit right with Actor, so we did not wait around for this invasion to be finished. We found Yeerks that were willing to break off with us, and we went ourselves to the Hork-Bajir home planet. The Yeerks had been resourceful in the few years since they escaped our home planet. They had gathered ships and new technology from a few other species, most notably the Skritna. They crafted fighters from some of the spare parts my cousins had brought them in exchange for a few Ged hosts. Once my people had these ships, like me, they studied them and found out how they worked so they could modify them. The way the Yeerk brain learned and developed quickly was fascinating. The Skritna would not fight with us, but they did tag along in order to make deals with the Empire. Some even came with us to the Hork-Bajir home planet. We entered the atmosphere of this world and descended into a canopy of green. I'd never seen so many trees before. I'd never seen any with green leaves at all. I noticed the vast crevices and purple mist flowing out of it, and I wondered what that was. Suddenly, there was a loud bang and a scraping noise. Red lights began to flash, and I felt our descent quicken. My dead limbs clutched for anything to hold on to, but I was not quick enough, and I fell to the ground and slid across the floor. My head slammed into a wall, and I was out. When I began to gain some sense of focus, I could feel that things weren't moving anymore. At least there was that. But I had no vision, and I was in a daze. I can move. Lynn's thoughts echoed through my brain, but I was reeling and couldn't think straight. I will be free now. I tried desperately to stop my mind from swimming, but I was still so confused and so many things were happening. No more Yeerk. Lynn preferred to die over being controlled anymore. The vision slowly started to come back, and I could see natural light. There was a gaping hole in one side of the ship, and Lynn approached. I could see that we were very high up. I saw the Kandrona. It had rolled to the wall and was just feet from the hole. If the Kandrona fell out, surely it would have been destroyed. But what did this hole come from? Lynn noticed I could see again, and I felt his footsteps hurry. He was racing towards the hole. Lynn, I thought, don't. You'll kill us both. So be it, said Lynn, as the opening grew bigger as he raced towards it. I had to regain control. I began concentrating on Lynn's brain crevices and searched desperately for a hold. I found something. Too late. Lynn leaped just as I regained control of the legs, which took a lot out of an already pitiful jump. But his plan worked. We were tumbling through the sky of this planet. Branches, green leaves all around me as we plummeted, and then slam! A bright light filled Lynn's head as it smacked into something hard, and then we were still. I regained consciousness sometime later. I was back in control of Lynn's body. I felt his consciousness coming to just as mine was, but he was defeated. So far, no host had ever been able to regain control over the body for more than a few moments. That was almost enough for Lynn to have his revenge. You fool of a Ged, I thought to him. You would have killed us both. I wish I had. I ignored Lynn's response and looked around. We were in the trees of the Hork-Bajir planet. The branches were thick and stretched far into the bushels of other branches. My Ged body would not be moving fast here. I saw the ship. It had crashed into branches and was suspended in them, a gaping hole in the side. I looked down to the ground, which was a significant distance below. The other Kandrona lie there. Must have been what made the hole in the initial crash. Simtaf, I heard from above. Is that you? Are you injured? Actor 1154 was yelling down to me from the ship. I saw other Ged with him, all of their faces in awe as they were taking in this planet. Simtaf! My host has not sustained significant damage. I am fine. I pointed my good arm towards the ground. But one of the Kandronas is damaged. How is the other? It is still intact, empowering the pool on board the ship. Most of the systems are intact as well, but we cannot take off again with the breach in the hull. The ship cannot fly at this time. Our allies are waiting in orbit for communication. I looked back down towards the Kandrona on the ground. In order to take the planet and the hosts, we would need a base of operations. I learned this from the Andalites. It made the insurrection more convenient for them. However, it was crucial to our survival. We would need a place to re-enter a pool and to contain our hosts while we fed. We only had 3 days to make this compound as well. If I can get to the ground, I may be able to fix the Kandrona generator and we can set up our campsite, I yelled back up to Actor. Do it. I will send you help as soon as we find the way down. We will call in reinforcements from orbit as well, but they will need to navigate more carefully, so it will take longer. For now, you are on your own, Simtaf. I began to search for ways to descend. The branches were sturdy and big enough for me to move around on comfortably, but I had to search for places safe enough for the Geb body to descend. It was very slow going. Suddenly, a blur moved in my peripherals through the trees. I whipped my head in that direction. "What was that?" Lynn questioned. I couldn't find anything amongst the leaves. I studied and searched for a minute, but when I spotted nothing, I kept moving. I had a lot to do and not a lot of time to do it in. I would take this planet for the Yeerk Empire. I would take a new host. I would spread my people as much as I could. This was our time.